Welcome, this is Drea Marcel with Beyond the Runway, and we are so excited today. We have Sherita Ivory. Let's give her a round of applause. If you don't know Sherita, you should. Wonderful model that has done everything from producing, being a model, cover of a magazine. Like, I can't even go into depth into her bio. She's just gonna have to break it down for you. Give us a slight overview of the things you've done.
Yes, well, hello everyone. Hi, Drea. Thank you for having me.
Yes,
of course.
you're welcome.
Yes. Slight overview. Yes, I've done a number of different things and went into different avenues into the fashion industry, which I'm thankful for because that has opened doors to other, things and opportunities. So, yeah, just like Dre said, I've done fashion shows. I do producing. Model calls. I've been on panels, fashion panels. I'm a model. Let's not forget that.
Right.
I'm still a model, modeling. Actually a working model. So meeting and networking with different people and just growing my brand because I do believe I am my brand. So I grow my brand doing different things, meeting Drea, doing interviews, podcasts. I mean, you name it. I've been brand ambassadors for different companies, whether it's cosmetics and or clothing. So I'm just excited about how my journey has turned out and have yet to go because we know we're still here. So we just keep stepping every step day by day. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what's coming up in the near future.
Definitely, and I do see a lot in your future. Definitely a lot. So can you share with us how you got started modeling?
Yes, so you can take me back. Okay. It started with a desire and a passion to want to do it as a young girl. So I'm a plus model, a model nonetheless. But I have always been a thick young lady. I've always been a thick little girl, and I love fashion. I like clothes. I like color. I like style. One of my aunties, she was very fashionable, as well as my mom, very fashionable. And I think I just kind of absorbed those things growing up. I'm from New York City originally. I know sometimes when you say that, people are like, oh, it makes sense. But, really because of the melting pot. New York City has so many different cultures and different fashions and styles.
And you're free to be who you want.
Free to be who you want to be. And so growing up in that, I've seen that. I've absorbed that. It became a part of who I am. So it must have been maybe as a tween when I kind of was like, modeling, what's that? I didn't even really know what it was, but I just knew I loved fashion. Okay. Then I started seeing magazines and different TV shows. Didn't see too many people my size or that would represent a thicker, curvier, fuller-figured woman, but it was something I wanted to do. So I started pursuing it.
Yes.
I started pursuing it, probably in my early 20s. Started pursuing it was just a couple of years ago, but but I started pursuing it and got my first runway gig in 2005 on Runway. I was actually going to conventions and things like that before that, but I got my first runway gig through Harvey Star Washington, right in Washington D.C.
I've heard of Harvey.
Harvey, yes, he's very big. If you know Washington D.C., you know him. But he gave me my first opportunity on the runway. In 2005, and it was on from there, man. I knew about the print and the pictures in the magazine, but Runway has a special place in my heart. It's just, and then I have an acting background to theatrical, so in a sense, they kind of coincide with each other, and I kind of make them blend together, to work, because I'm not really the outward person. Believe it or not, I know.
She's telling lies right now.
Real talk. I'm really not. I'm really kind of shy and a little bit introverted, but I like to be around people. I like to speak to people. I love the runway, you know what I mean? But I can block everybody out, do my job, and come off. So that's pretty much a synopsis of the start of everything, and it's just been on and on and on from there.
It's been on and popping. So since you started modeling, how has the industry changed or evolved?
Especially with the plus size community, and I always have to represent that because there was a time where it wasn't prevalent at all, and so how do you, as a young lady, a little thicker than most, wanting to do this thing and not really seeing a lot of representation? So how do you go about going in that direction of a career and not having many examples? I won't say there weren't any, there were some, but very few.
Okay.
And so like moving forward in the industry, I've seen it change. I've seen it open up more. I've seen style open up more. I've seen fashion designers open up more. There was maybe you can probably go into any department store, and kind of know what the plus size clothes would look like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You knew it was gonna be a chic dress, maybe an A-line, maybe a wrap dress.
Shoulders out,
the typical right below the knee,
Yeah.
flared, away from the body, not much shape. You know what I mean? Not much style. But then now we're in the age where designers are coming up like, hey, no, I want to shape my curvy women because there's curvy women in my family.
Yes.
How about that? There's curvy women in my family, and so let me make some designs that is for the everyday woman, the average size woman, and not to knock those who are smaller than average size. My mom is petite. If you see my mom and you see me, you'd be like, how did you do that? How did you push that out? But all in the same, that's how I've seen the changes in the industry, in the fashion, in the acceptance of a curvier woman. Some years ago, remember there was that big body positivity movement
around COVID,
right?
Yeah.
And maybe a little before, it was like big and like exploded,
yes.
which is cool. And everybody's body is different. So the woman that kind of jumped on that movement was kind of to show, hey, this is me, this is my body, this is what you're gonna get. And in the same way, I feel I do the same thing. This is my size. I've always been. I am 5'10" without a heel. Okay, a 14, 16 teetering around that area. I kind of stay in that little pocket, but there wasn't a lot of girls like that. You know what I mean? So now I have the opportunity to maybe influence some young ladies, some young men for that matter, right? To say, this is your size, live in it, embrace it, accept who you are, and the world will accept you. And if they don't accept you, okay? Did you catch that?
Yeah.
If they don't accept you, accept you. Okay? That's where I'm at with it.
So during your journey, what are some of the challenges that you faced?
Challenges, probably size.
Okay.
In the beginning stages, was a thing, trying to find designers and stuff that would fit me in something fashionable. Now, the caveat to that, we have to remember we're models, right? I might not necessarily buy the look for my closet, but when I put it on, you thought I pulled it from my closet. That's how it should work. You know what I mean? So some of the challenges I had was to try to fit into certain clothing. Because my height and my proportions are different, and the pants are short and things like that, then they had to make adjustments.
Yes.
Now it's a crop pant.
Which is in.
It worked, you make it work or whatever like that. Or, every woman's body, no matter what size, is shaped different. My arms are thicker at the top, so sometimes the sleeves were like,
and need to breathe
a little bit, But those are adjustments, which was good in the early stages, because now designers and people who want to make clothes can see, oh, I need to give a little stretch. I need to give a little give.
Yes.
So those probably the most challenges I've had. Of course, different shows, whether they accept straight size, plus size,
yes.
Those were challenges too. Then it became a lot of straight size shows. I was one of the few, meaning less than 5 plus size models. Sometimes I was the only plus size model.
Wow.
In a straight size show.
And during those times, like, how were you received? Like, was there any drama or negativity, or just people were just glad to see you? Like, how did it?
Audience wise,
or
even backstage.
Both,
so
backstage and audience.
Right, and I think so. What I can remember, backstage. We'll start backstage with other models. I'll be honest, your personality will carry you through. And, you know, I say I'm not funny, I'm kind of silly, you know, and I just love people. So if I see you, I'm going to speak to you and things like that. So I think a lot of that helped because it softened people. Mm-hmm. You know, it kind of warmed them up to you to kind of accept what was coming.
They saw you know, they saw a person.
Me. Right. And that was my goal, is to just put me out there, who I am. The size is one thing, you know, because that's what you see first before I open up my mouth, right? But when I speak, you know what I mean, then it's like, oh, this is the person. So I didn't really have much issue with models.
Okay.
That, you know, we kind of just clicked. If there were a few that was their own personal issues within themselves, is what I learned. Very few. It happens. We're women, we're human, let's be real. But very few. And then as it came to walking the runway into the crowd lights up.
They do.
When the curvy girls come out,
especially this
body
right
here. You know, they light up. And I love that because they're like, oh, and to me, in my mind, they're seeing a relation. They see someone they can relate to. You know, they've seen walking in the street past them wearing that fly outfit with the hair and the makeup and everything, because we know it's all marketing. It is what it is. But they're like, oh, she wears that, I can wear that too. You know, so it wasn't really too many challenges, I would say. And even now, same, I have a network of straight size and plus size models that I can call and be like, hey, you know, this opportunity is coming up, what's going on? And then I love seeing them. So I tell people the fashion industry and modeling is big, but it's very small.
So
have you noticed that?
Especially on the East Coast, because it's like what, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, then Philly, New York. We all kind of know each other, Atlanta. Or know somebody. Yeah.
You know, I travel to Atlanta. I'm a traveling model. I don't stay in one area. Yeah, I love Atlanta. I just came back from Atlanta. Oh yeah, I just came back from there last weekend, but I've been there. That was my third time this year already being in Atlanta.
Oh wow.
Love it down there. But just doing that, like you said, that area, everybody runs into each other, or you'll see somebody like, I think I saw you a couple years ago at such and such a show in another state, but it is a small community. It's big, but it's kind of small. So, which is good because you get to see people who you're familiar with, worked with before, network, and you know, they may share something with you, you'll share something with them, and that just broadens your network. So that's fun. That's the fun part.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
You're a model as well as a casting director. What advice would you have, well, for new models, and then in general for models applying to castings?
For new ones?
Yes.
New ones, I would say, if you can, get some training.
Okay. Because
these days, we know, like fashion industry, like with any other industry, moves like this. So if you come in and maybe you have never hit the runway, barely walked in heels, chances are you may not get picked. Unless it's a production where maybe they have time to do training, multiple rehearsals, and things like that. You might get to learn. That's how I learned, I'll be honest. When I came in with Harvey Star Washington, I didn't know, I just knew I wanted to do it. And I believed that I could do it, right? So I went and gave my good old college try for Runway. You know, it was probably cute. It was probably looking like I was walking through Walmart, I always say, you know, just to go grab some groceries. But he saw something in me. And I got selected. Then, though, he had rehearsals. We had to attend rehearsals for hour, mostly like probably 2 hours. We had to attend those rehearsals. He had other models who had been doing it train us. You know, so these days, now I'm seeing a lot of productions aren't doing a lot of rehearsals. Again, it's a time thing, time management. Then you have working models, like say myself. I'm not opposed to going to rehearsals. I will go and do a rehearsal. I will go to castings.
A rehearsal, yeah.
She's like, a rehearsal. I will go to rehearsals, but now it's like, if I go to rehearsal on this particular Saturday, I might have a show. I can't make it. You know, I might be working on another production. I might be out of town because I'm doing something out of town. So a lot of productions don't really hold a lot of rehearsals. They want you to be able to walk. So if these days, I would say, if as a new model coming in, get some training. If not, go on YouTube. You need to do something to have a baseline. I also train models. I know we'll probably get into that, but I also do model coaching.
Okay.
So yeah, for sure. Like it's needed. It's essential to get the foundational principles. I actually have a couple of clients coming up, and in the past, this is something I do on a regular. But it's essential to get that training, to get those foundational principles of what runway is, of what walking is, how to present on a runway.
Yes.
You know, because people look at the model and say, oh my God, that's easy. I could do that. It's work, Dre.
It is.
Hey, it's
you
work.
You gotta practice.
You have to till this day, I practice. I went to a workshop for learning as early as probably about 2 years ago, you know, but when I see something that's like, oh, okay, maybe I can go and learn and grab something, I still do it to this day. Again, I mentioned it earlier, 2025 is when I started Runway. I started my modeling journey before that. So you do the math on how long I've been doing this.
Yeah.
And I still practice. I'm still in front of the mirror. I'm still making sure I'm walking straight. You know, I might tweak or have tweaked my walk throughout the years. You know what I mean? Just to kind of change the style of it a little bit. I still am conscious of the different brands and the designers I work for, because the way I would walk for streetwear is not the way I would walk for bridal.
So having different walks
Is key.
Yes.
Is key. That's for every model.
What do they say? Personality, straight. What else is there? European?
Styles of walking.
Yeah.
There's like so many different styles. Like I said, bridal and streetwear, that's my two extremes. You're not going to do the same type of walk for those different brands or designers. You know, you should be able to change it up. You know, and that's something in the beginning when I started, I wanted to be known as a versatile model.
Yes.
And I believe I've achieved that. You know, and still open to learning other things, you know, as I'm still continuing on my journey. But being versatile is king.
It opens
you know?
doors.
It opens doors.
Yes.
Now, if you cannot, that's fine too. Don't get me wrong. That's fine too. Work your lane.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If you're maybe always smiling and very soft, maybe you're just bridal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's
true.
fine. Maybe you can't, you know, give a little swag on the street with the edgy, you know, maybe you don't have, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Find your lane and work your lane. But as for me, I wanted to be versatile. I wanted to be able to move in the different genres of the fashion industry. So yes, different styles, get a trainer, positive attitude.
It's key.
It's key. It's very important, you know, because that will, like I said, people will look at you like, oh, maybe she can, you know, I can work with her. You know, being open, you know, networking is very key. Even in the model casting, you come to model casting, there's hundreds of models there, you know, or a number of models. There may be designers in the building. Open up your mouth and talk. Again, I said I'm kind of an introvert, but I had to encourage myself. Open up your mouth
to be able to connect with people.
You have to.
Then they remember you for other castings that come up, or even there at one casting, you may get connected to another casting. There's been castings like in New York, I'll go and they're like, oh, there's something down the street. All right, come on, let's go.
Right
and
away.
then we're all going together. I don't know these people, but now we're friends.
I don't know if this is true, but I love that. That is so true. So you can't really be too closed off. It is to your detriment. I mean, beneficially, it's best to kind of, you know, just warm up. You don't have to be best friends. You might not see these people again.
Yes.
But just be, you know, friendly and welcoming, because again, you never know. And what I've learned too, Dre, about that, you might see someone this year, never see them again till 2030. You never know.
And they're directing the show.
And you treated them like a peasant. You know, at the model call, and just look down on them. You never know. I'm saying from what I've experienced, not what I heard, but what I've experienced. That people will remember, oh, I remember you from the, can you walk for me? I remember you. You know, that's what you kind of want to have. Genuinely though, you know, be genuine no matter what. That's also key. You have to be genuine because people will smell it out. At least I do. People will spell it out, but be genuine.
So I want you to talk a little bit about the services you provide in terms of model coaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so model coaching is very interesting. It's something I love, especially the models who never walked runway. But some people might think that's the most challenging, but I love it because that's a clean slate. Because now you can teach them from the ground up. And that's what I do. I teach from the ground up as far as posture, facial, how your feet are in line, how your body's movement. You know, I like to have a mirror and we see how your hands are. Some people's nerves go to their hands and they're walking like this down the runway. The mirror is very essential because they can see what their body or their face, or they're like, you know, chewing, biting their lip or something, because they're concentrating on stepping over, you know, and doing the right crunch, the nerves kicking, all those things. Faces looking crazy, or they're frowning because they're thinking so much. So I love the challenge of training someone who has never done runway before. And I also train models who have the experience to tweak their walk. You know, everybody has something different. And what I say, those who come and train with me, I'm just giving you a portion. You know, the foundation, you build on top of your foundation. I'm still building on top of my foundation. You know, and it's continual throughout your modeling journey. So I'm teaching you one way, somebody else is going to teach you something else. You pick and choose what works for you to customize your walk. I'm not trying to teach you to walk like me, Naomi Campbell, Ashley Graham. I'm not trying to teach you to walk like any of those ladies, but you will customize and have your own style walk.
Now, are your classes only in person? Are they virtual? How does it work?
In person.
Okay.
It's best. I have done virtual. It's possible. I've done it before. I prefer in person.
And how can people sign up? Do you have a website, or they DM you on Instagram?
You can DM. I also have my, you can Instagram me, or you can also send me email at ivorymodel@yahoo.com. You send me, or if you need to DM me straight. I'm working on the website. People have been getting on me about doing my website. I've been busy, and I know that sounds strange, but it's been a lot. And because I want it nice. I don't just want something. You want
it perfect.
Yes. I can't have something just thrown together, but I am reachable. I am Sherita Ivory on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is Sherita_Ivory. Facebook is just Sherita Ivory, and that's SHERITA, Ivory like the color. So I can be found, but it's something I love to do, and I guess that's kind of my way of giving back. And I teach little children on up to adults, men and women, boys and girls, you know, so the broad range. If you want to learn, I can get you there.
And you're open to receiving.
Open to receiving at any stage in your walk. Like I said, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or whatever, at any stage, I can get you there. I've done 2-hour sessions where in the beginning you can see their walk. By the end of that session, it's a totally different person, different walk, confidence, all of that. I also teach workshops for youth. And I use Runway as kind of like an icebreaker. They just love to do it. And they might start off, you know, very shy and, you know, introverted, you know what I mean? But then by the time we do the Runway, and it's very loose Runway, you know, nothing serious. Just give me what you got. And they just open up, you know. And now that they're open, now you can talk to them. Now you can teach them about being confident in yourself and loving yourself and being kind to others and whatever else, you know, those things you want to teach those children. You soften them up, and then you can just pour into them. So I love that. I love teaching the children.
And I have to say, there's quite a bit of models that are experienced that tend to gatekeep because they want to stay booked and they want to be on top. But I love that you're giving back and you're pouring into people, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, because you've done a lot in different states, from Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, Virginia. I'm probably missing a few states. But you shared earlier that you do stuff in Atlanta. Can you kind of break that down for us, how you got connected and what you've done?
So Hotlanta, right? Hotlanta. Man, how did I get started going down there? I remember my first trip to Atlanta, and it was just so exciting to me because, you know, you heard about it all this time. And mind you, it wasn't even that long ago. It might have been before COVID. So it's really not that long when I started going down there and experiencing Atlanta. And I went down there because there was a production that did a show here in DC. Okay. The same production team also did a show every year in Atlanta.
Okay.
And so I was asked to come walk down in Atlanta, and I was like, okay, I always wanted to go to Atlanta, you know. And this is a big show they have down there, celebrity filled show, love it. And it's like a weekend, a whole weekend of events. And I went down there for that first time, and I fell in love with Atlanta. Did shows for that production. Then I ended up meeting some other people, Lifestyle Honors, which I said I just came back from last weekend. This is was the 12th year. She's actually the finale year, actually, and she's going to be going on to do other things. Maui Bigelow with Lifestyle Honors. Started going down there every year with her. Met her in New York City.
Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying? The connection, you never know. Met her, walked for her the first time she did a show in New York City, Curvy Noir. And she's like, oh, you know, I'm doing this down in Atlanta. Would you come? Yeah. You know what I mean? Started coming been going every year since, you know what I mean? And it's just been great. And then I've also, like I said, I do production for different things. There was it was called Black Wedding Experience. Yeah, so it was a wedding expo, different vendors, highlighting African-American minority vendors exclusively. And then there was a fashion show portion. So I was asked because she saw me do another show locally. She saw me do a show locally in Maryland. And she's like, I like how you work. She said, we're going to do some things together. She kept her word, called me. We did great business together. Was able to travel with her down to Atlanta. It was actually a traveling expo. And we went and worked in Atlanta, met more designers there, and it just kept growing and growing. So, like I said, I go to Atlanta a couple times a year. Okay. Yeah. So that's basically what I do down there is fashion shows. I actually go down there to walk. You know, interviews. I've done interviews down there for productions as well. That's something else I do interviewing and hosting, red carpet.
Everything.
All the things. It's fun. Doing all the things. So that's pretty much my experience down there. And then maybe a little turn up. But you know.
It's Atlanta. You have to.
We'll save that for another time.
You have to.
Right.
So one of the things I think I didn't realize when I started modeling is the amount of rejection that one can go through. Can you kind of just explain or give tips on how to recover from the rejection, or when you put that casting in, what are the next steps a model should do?
I love that question, Drea. So rejection, we as humans, outside of even modeling, right? We have to come to a place to understand that rejection at that time is just for that time. It's not necessarily a reflection of who you are as a person, but maybe for that production, for that job, whatever the deal was, whatever your faith, your belief is, that's up to you. But knowing that your life has a journey, it has a purpose, you know, it's planned out and laid out for you. I believe highly in that. You know, because I know the rejections many rejections. Hello, ask Naomi Campbell. I'm sure she's had some too. You know what I mean? Ask whoever you can think. I'm sure they had Tyra Banks. Yes. Everyone has had rejection. You know, and it's not a personal thing. It's just for that production or whatever it may be. Maybe you might not have that look that they're looking for. Not that you're not beautiful or handsome. You just don't have the look that they're looking for that particular collection. You know, so you will get no's. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You will get no's. But the recovery, as you said, is to know, okay, this is not going to stop me. I'm going to keep pushing forward because there is a production out there for me. There is something out there for me. My niche, I'm going to find that, you know, but you won't find it if you stop. I just spoke to someone about that in Atlanta recently, because they were like, you know, and it just blesses my heart when I hear it. You know, you have people, we look up to you and, you know, love what you're doing, and there's people watching you. This person was talking about themselves and abroad, and I was like, wow, that always touched my heart, because you don't know, because I'm just working,
Because
but
you're
people are
focused
watching.
on you. You're not worried about other people.
Yeah, in a sense, but also I know I'm opening doors.
Yes.
And I know people are watching, but to hear it.
Mm.
If somebody take the time out and say, you know what you're doing, I'm looking up to that, or I aspire to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love to hear that. And I was just telling them, if you stop, you're not going to know where you're going to go.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You cannot stop, or you shouldn't stop. You can stop. You probably shouldn't if this is what you want to do. You push past the no's. And I've trained myself, because it is a trained thinking, to say, okay, I got this no, it's because something else is coming for me that I'm supposed to have. And every time, every rejection I've got, every no I've got, there's always been the next thing that came that I was supposed to have, and I excelled in. Whether it was work, that's to say it might be outside of the modeling industry, whatever it may be, outside of that, the next thing that's on your path and on your journey, you will have it. So understanding that is key to the rejection.
Okay.
It's just for that moment. It's just a moment.
Yes.
You know, my mom taught me something many years ago. I was a young girl. She said the worst they can do is say no. The worst thing. Is that the worst? It's a word. You know, yeah, it can hurt. You know, I've had times like, man, I really wanted that gig. You know, I've had those times where it's like, I really wanted that gig real bad, and I didn't get it, but it was for a purpose, you know. And then again, the next door opened, and I moved forward.
So on the flip side of that, when models do get bookings and castings, and one of the things I've noticed, especially in Runway, they want you to work for free. Some designers. So talking about getting paid, like making that crossover from always working for free to being more selective in the bookings that you apply for and get chosen for.
Right.
Like, what is your advice?
So honestly, I have to talk about my beginning journey.
Yeah.
Okay. People don't know who you are. They don't know what you can do when you start out, right? They have no idea. They have no idea if you're going to work that garment that they spend time, effort, getting stuck with the sewing machine, the material that they bought, you know, whatever they had to cut, and all this time that they spent on that garment or piece or skincare, whatever it may be, that when they put it on you, you're going to sell it. When I train these models that come to me as my clients, I tell them, you're a salesperson. Now, sidebar, I don't feel like I'm a salesperson. Like, you want me to go do car dealership or something, I'm more like, hey, Dre, you want this? You're like, no, thank you. I'm like, oh, okay. On to the, that's not really a salesperson. You know, the real ones that go, you know, that, no, you need this. Dre, you need this water. No, this air that you're breathing, let me sell it to you. Like, you know, like sell water to a well, like you heard that saying before. Those are the real salespeople. Like, to me, I'm not that girl. But as a model, you are a salesperson. We are salespeople, whether it be for a garment or skincare, hair, whatever it may be. You're selling a product. So if you keep that in mind, it's like coming in the beginning expecting to get paid. It's like, well, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me see what you can do first. So me, as I started, I was doing everything. What a lot of people don't know, I did have a hiatus. I had like maybe 10 years, believe it or not.
Oh.
Yeah.
10-year hiatus?
I had a hiatus. I was still dabbling in it because it's a passion of mine, so it never left. I'll be honest. But I had a hiatus. I came out many years, was doing my thing, had a hiatus, came back this time around, hitting it hard.
Yes.
And because those who were around my first go around weren't really around anymore, nobody knows who I am. They don't know I'm a whole veteran out here, you know, in this fashion thing. And so I was hitting every show, all of them, whether it was in a church basement, the school auditorium, I was hitting all the shows. Why? Networking, getting my face out there, getting my brand out there, showing people what I can do. Because they didn't know me from anything anymore, you know? And once I started doing that, the best thing I know right now, we're in a social media society, which is great. It has its purpose. But word of mouth never goes old. Ever goes old. I need to do more posting on my social media. I really do. I don't do it, but I need to do it. I do post. I pop out every now and then. But word of mouth,
Priceless.
Priceless. Thank you for that. Priceless. So I was hitting all the shows, getting me out there, showing what I can do, learning, listening. Be quiet and listen. Be quiet and watch and learn. You know, we don't do enough of that. So that's what I was doing all those years, hitting those shows. Then the doors started opening. Now, transitioning over to paid model, we talked earlier about being signed to an agency. Agency will pay you. There's some contracts that you better read very thoroughly that you'll have to sign. Yes, you'll get the big bucks.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this again, read those contracts. Get a lawyer, get someone else to read those contracts. Don't just sign. In my beginning stage, I was like, yeah, I want to be signed. You know, you start seeing some of them contracts, you know, you rethink it. Now, that's not every agency is not, please don't get me wrong, but read those contracts. So not being signed now, it's like, how do you get paid?
Right.
There are some designers and or productions who will pay you. It's just finding them, you know, and happening upon them sometimes. There's no easy way to say it. There's some productions that might have a little extra coin, even if it's maybe $25 for your gas tank.
It's something.
It's something.
Yes.
And I love when productions do this. And some I've worked with where they paid the model. Some I've worked with where they haven't. It's on the production side. I always ask, when I'm asked to do a production, what are the incentives for the models?
That's a nice way to put it.
You know why? You know why? Because I'm a model. So the good thing is when I'm on these production teams, I'm looking through a model's lens as well. I'm in boss mode, you know, getting things done, but I'm also a model. So what are the incentives for the models? And they were like, well, we can't pay them, but we'll get lunch for them. They'll get bomb photos or whatever, you know, have you. We'll provide hair and makeup. You know, those things matter as a model. You know what I mean? One of the great things that I always say when I teach the models, learn how to do your makeup. That's one of the best things I did, is learn how to do my makeup. You know, and then of course you build on top of it and get better and better at it. Best thing ever. Because sometimes you can go to a production and they want to do your makeup and they might not get to you. You might only get a lip.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. But then think about it too. I do photo shoots. I do all these different productions and stuff. I show my makeup ready. Imagine paying a makeup artist $75 to $125 every time. Well, my workload is expensive. No. Learn how, this sidebar, learn how to do your makeup. Learn how to do it good. Okay? Learn how to do it well. Very well. You know, it's a good thing. But yeah, so doing all of that and growing up in the industry, you start learning that these different productions, if they can't provide me monetarily, then, you know, they'll have those other things. So for me, it's just kind of has been happenstance on the production because I'm independent. Again, agency-wise, I worked in productions where agency models have worked with independent models.
Yes.
The agency models will get paid through their agency.
Right.
It is what it is. It's a chance you take. You know, I've worked with productions, like I said, they're paying. They'll pay you. Celebrities will pay you. Celebrities, you know, brands and different things like that, they'll pay you. So that's the best thing I can say. You got to get out there. If nobody knows you, they're not going to know to have you come and be a part of their production to pay you.
So, in production, when you have a show, what are some of your pet peeves as a model producer or show producer?
This is going to sound funny. And my mom and I were out yesterday and we were talking about this. She said, I always remember you say this. And what I say is people don't read. People
I'm
don't
guilty
read.
of that.
Right.
And I work in education and I don't read.
So I had been probably earlier on. I'm a reader and I love language and English and stuff like so. I'm always gonna read, but that probably could be the biggest one because I'll send an email and here's the thing: I'm very detailed.
Yes.
Like when I do production, I'm like, putting bullet points. Like, you'll have everything you need, and it's intentional, because people will ask you. If I have a production of 30 models, then we have cameraman, we have hair and makeup, we have, volunteers, we have designers, a number of designers. Imagine all of those people asking me the same question over and over again. So I'm very detailed. But what I've learned is that people don't read. And so I'll spend all that time in emails, and sometimes I do Instagram groups.
Yes.
Sometimes that works even better than email, because some people with emails just depends. Generational wise, who checks emails, but Instagram group chats work very well. And it's a place where you can go refer.
That's
Sherita,
true.
what's the address again? And you know what I will say?
Scroll up.
Yes, I will. Indeed. Because then I become a personal assistant.
Yes.
But again, for a whole production, it's a bit much. So I be sure to put anything. I'm not a robot. I may miss something. Obviously, I will and have. And somebody will be like, hey, Sherita, you forgot. I'm like, oh, my mistake. And it's my mistake. And I'll put it in there. But generally, read. Please read in detail. If you're working in a production meeting, you'll see what I mean. But any production you go to, read the details, because it's in the details.
Yes.
They spent the time to give you what you need, so you can prepare. Those are in there so you can prepare. So that would be the biggest pet peeve of mine.
So in terms of for you personally in your career and your journey, what is the dream modeling job for you?
Oh, dream modeling job. I'll say my dream designer.
Okay.
I always say it when I do interview, Christian Siriano.
Oh yes.
he's native. He's from Maryland,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's from Maryland. I don't remember what part, but I do know he's from down here in the DMV. So he's my dream designer to walk for. I saw him. I watched Project Runway like religiously, as they say, especially when it first came out. I know it's revamping and coming back out again, but I remember his season. I remember his first look. I remember like watching his whole season, and he won that season, and now he's going on to do great things. And it wasn't just because he was on television. It was his style, his structure, the way he architected this look, this piece, because I'm a visionary. And for me, for those pieces that he put out, it was his vision coming out. And I connected to the vision. It's just how it is. Like when we go into the department store, something that you might like on the rack might not be appealing to me. Something I might like might not be appealing to you. But it was something about Christian Siriano's work from the very beginning. When I saw him, was like, man, he has something to say through the sewing machine. And he's doing amazing things. And there were many others on that show, but he's one that sticks out to me. When you ask me my dream, he would be my dream. At one time, my dream agency was Wilhelmina. Wilhelmina, Wilhelmina, that was that was in the beginning stage. I also had a dream of being on Times Square billboard. That came to pass.
When did that happen?
Ooh, that was during COVID, because and I remember because it was the mask. Remember, we were wearing the mask and everything. So one of my billboards was, we had the mask, and it matched the designer that I worked with. But I achieved that goal. So a caveat to that is manifest. You better speak what you want to happen. It can happen. It will happen. It has happened in my journey. Even now, what I'm doing now, aside from the production side, which is funny, and I know I'm going a sidebar a little bit.
Keep going.
The production side, I had always, so I do wedding planning and things like that. I've done party planning and things like that. I kind of grew up in that in my family, big family, plan parties, learn from that. But I didn't have in my trajectory to do fashion show production, to be on the backside. I didn't think of that, but it happened. It kind of fell upon, and it's been great. So people ask me, what do you like doing best? I'm like, both.
Yes.
I can't pick between the two. It's really both sides of the coin. I just love it. So speak what you want. Christian Siriano, I'll see you soon.
Yes. We're going to tag him.
We're going to tag him.
Yes. Now, what advice do you have for models just in general?
advice for models in general. And I think it's a lot we probably both said throughout this interview. You have to push forward. You have to keep stepping in it. Again, and I'll say this again, if you stop, you're not gonna know where you could have been or could be. So do not stop, push forward. Get yourself out there, meet people, meet good people, watch and listen. Big key, watch and listen to what's going on. Follow directions. It sounds, but
sometimes it's hard.
It's hard.
Yes.
It's hard. And we talk about production, and it's not necessarily a pet peeve because I understand human nature. You can give instruction. It could be a room of people, and they're standing in front of you, and you give an instruction, and they're like,
"What was that again?"
Like right there, like you were watching me in my eyes. You didn't catch what I said. you were right, and I thought we connected, But it's like, follow directions, I was always where I was supposed to be when I was supposed to be there, and I learned from that. And know this, if you don't hear anything else I say, someone is always watching. Someone is always watching. There have been productions I've been a part of as a model. They watch. Like I said, the young lady that I worked with she saw me doing something totally different. Wow. She said, I see how you work. I see how you take detail. And because of that, she pulled and asked me to come join with something else. Wow. People are always watching. When you go to castings, if you drive to the casting, when your foot steps out that vehicle, that Uber, whatever it is, however you got there, the train, when you're on the property where the casting is, you are on. Okay? You are on. Be careful who you see in the elevator, going up the steps, down in the lobby, in the parking lot.
That's true.
You might want to screw face somebody, or I don't know, you might have had a bad day, but when you step foot out onto that property, that day has to stay away till you get back on the train, get back in the Uber or whatever, because you don't know who's out there. You might screw face the person in the parking lot, go upstairs, and they're one of the judges on the panel.
Yes.
What do you do? What do you do? I've seen it happen to models within the industry. They've given somebody, maybe some type of shade or whatever. Later on, there's a casting for that person's production, and that person's like, I don't want to work with them because I remember when I was so-and-so, the energy was nasty. Yeah. I don't want that person working with me on this production. And they have every right to do it. That's another thing. The producers of these shows have every right to make whatever selections they want. They produce their shows the way they want to produce it. So don't ever go into a production thinking that it's like the last one you did.
So let me ask you this. How can, if you're a model, make that crossover to production? Like, how do you make that jump?
It happened for me.
Okay.
And I can talk about this now. There was a production I was a model for. I'll touch on this. I was a model for this production, and their backstage crew wasn't backstage crewing.
They were just there.
They were there. They were doing some things, but I'm a time person. I time frames, and I will give you the time frames of the day. This is what we're going to do. If you tell me the goal is to start the show at 5 o'clock, we are ready by 4. And I planned the day to be ready by 4. So for me, the show started at 4. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so with this particular production, things were not good. We had 4 hours. We had about 40, 50 models, which is in excess of models for a production. Hair and makeup needed to be done. Fittings needed to be done. There wasn't a lot of direction, and just for the person that was working the backstage, I think it was a lot on them for a little bit of time. I don't think there were enough hands to help because the stage had to still be set up. So imagine this person trying to do stage setup, having to do back and models. It was a lot. So because I was one of the lead models, and I've had the experience. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and all those years I've been watching, right? And I have the background of wedding planning, party planning. It's very similar in the sense of organization. My organization skills, even in my home, in my car, I like things in order. So it was a natural thing for me to step up and say, hey, let me have these people go here. Let me have hair and makeup here. Okay, these models, what scene are you? You're in the first scene. Okay, let me have the first, second scene models start getting things. It just went like that. It just went like that to the point of one of the models, and she's so sweet. I will never forget this. She drove up from Georgia. Oh wow. Yeah, this was in Philly. Not say too much, but it was in Philly. And she drove up from Georgia, and she had no looks for her at all. And so I had looks. Yeah, that hurts. She drove overnight with her baby. We won't go deep into that, but she drove overnight to get there. She got there. She had no looks. She was crying. We were friends, so she came to me, and I'm like, girl, and it was just like this. I said, you can have my looks. I was supposed to walk as a model in that show. I did not. I gave my looks up, and it was nothing. And even to this day, I'm like, I would do it all over again, no problem. Because in my mind, again, production and model, right? As a model, there were new models there that had not done a show before. Their people are out in the audience coming to see them. They spent whatever amount of money to come and see their family. We need to get the show ready and set for the time that we need to walk. That's what was in my mind. I don't want these new models to come in thinking that this is what the industry is. It was a happenstance. I'm sure the people on the production team didn't mean for it to happen that way. It was just that particular production that day. But that's what was in my mind, and it was automatic. I stepped up and we got it on time.
Thank God.
We got it on time, and to the point, like I said, I didn't walk. I think I did the last walk. When they call out
like the final,
production,
yeah.
And I almost didn't do that. And they was like, "Girl, come on!" Saying, "All right." I have it. It's on my Instagram. Actually, the walk that I did, but yeah. So that was probably on that scale. An introduction to doing production. Okay. I had done it on a small scale, like at church and stuff like that. So I kind of had the background, but on that scale, that was probably my first time.
You just jumped in where help was needed, and that gave you the background to start doing other things. Really,
because you really dig in. Because like now, even though it was a short amount of time, you learn. Again, I'm a listener and I'm a watcher. I learned and watched. So that moved to another one. And then because people saw me from that, they were like, hey, I'm doing something. Can you come over and help here? Then people see you from that. Hey, I'm doing something. Can you come help over here? Well, we did a Black Fashion Week.
Yes.
Dr. Bo is a model. I think she's doing that again sometime. But she's a model. I met her as a model. We worked first. Yeah. We were modeling together. I did a production that she was a model in. She saw me and was like, hey, I'm doing something.
So
would
funny
you come?
How it's all connected.
It's all connected, and that's why I said someone is always watching. So you have to mind, your manners in a sense. Being respectful to people. Period. Not just in modeling industry. Be respectful to people. Period. Life, yeah. In life, because you really don't know who you're gonna come across. You know what I mean? That person in the grocery store might decide to be a designer one day. I don't know. You just never know. And they might remember that you helped them, because I'm tall and this actually happens to me. Short people will come, can you help me? Or I'll just see them trying to reach and I'll just go up and grab it and pass it to them. But you never know. I might see them and they might, hey, I remember I was in the grocery store and you reached that thing off the top shelf for me and whatever, So being mindful of that, I think, is very important. So I don't have a formula for how to transfer over into production. I will say maybe a way to do that is to volunteer. Production always needs volunteers. So I have 2 productions that I have coming up, one in October, one in December, and we're looking for volunteers backstage. So that could be a way to learn production. you know, to work, because right now I'm working, like I said, those 2 productions, I'm working very closely with the leads. So the ones who are producing the show.
Okay.
So I'm taking on the bulk of putting and coordinating everything together. But there are people, you know, who are producing the show. So yeah, volunteering. So,
volunteer.
Yeah.
Then you work up to getting paid, right?
Yeah, you work up to that.
So, is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap up today?
No, I think we've said so much. And my hope is, and I love this platform that you're doing, Drea.
Thank you.
Beyond the Runway, you know what I mean? Because it is important. It's essential. We see the glitz and the glam of everything about the runway, but there is the behind the scenes. There is a human behind me, just like there's a human behind you, and that's what people connect to.
Yes.
So I do public speaking as well, you know, inspirational speaking, and so I love to connect because I think that's where the power is in the connection.
Yes.
That's where the change happens. That's where the thought-provoking things happen, in the connection. So having these type of platforms is really special. So
thank you for joining.
Thank you. Like, this is exciting.
Yes. And then where can people reach you again?
Yes. So again, my name is Sherita Ivory. That's SHERITA _Ivory on Instagram. Sherita Ivory on Facebook. You can reach me on email at ivorymodel@yahoo.com. Hit me up.
Yes.
I am here. I'm going to work on that website. I know some people might see this and they're like, we've been telling her for years. I'm going to work on it, for real.
This gives you the motivation to do it.
I need to. I got to find the time. I'm going to do it, but I know it's essential. But you can reach out to me. I gave you everything you got. And Drea, keep following her. Check out her platform. Look at what she's doing. Beyond the Runway. Check out the other guests, you know, and just we learn from each other.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.